Welcome to Rich in Blockchain. Okay guys, how you going? Today is 20th of September 2022 and we are just having another look at BTC and the rest of the cryptocurrency space. I'm just doing a bit of tea on that one. So having a look at BTC, we can see that it's come back down to retest this $18,000 range breakthrough since yesterday anyway, and just bounced from that back to this previous, I would say, resistance zone now. So once it was what was once resistance, support is now resistance, and what was resistance is now support. So in my opinion, the target in the long run is still what has happened here, which if I was to just unlock this and drag it over, you can see that the target is still at that $17,000 range. The path still remains the same for it. The 4-hourly close just then for BTC. So it's interesting to see what will happen next. We can also see that on this super guppy, it has just changed to a neutral position, so I'm not sure what the market wants to do at the moment. Potentially we may come back up to that $20,000 range and retest and bounce off, but in my opinion, it has pretty much just done that already. So if I was to draw a polyline, what I mean by that is, let me switch this off, is we break down, come back up, so we koboed up here. This is the resistance, and most likely we're going to bounce back off and hit that $17,000 mark. That's my opinion on what's looking likely to happen. Tomorrow is the FOMC meeting. The market is predicting a 0.75 basis point rate hike. But in my opinion, there's also 25% chance, from what I've been hearing anyway, of a 100 basis point rate hike, which will be the first time ever. And it caused the market to actually drop, and potentially we see this target here. Yeah, nothing much on that other than that. So just having a look at the 4-hourly, still looking the same. Not too much price action, but yeah, if we do come back down and retest, we'll pretty much shoot past this point here, which will also be the previous lows of this year. Yep. But other than that, there's nothing much for BTC going on at the moment. So it's just trading sideways, and then we just have to just figure out what's going to happen in the next coming hours, whether we go up or down. Having a look at ETH, it's broken down to this point. Right now it's ranging at that point there. Just let me move that out of the way so you guys can see clearly. So right now it's at the 1360 range. It has come up. In my opinion, it may come down if it's already tested at tops, or there's a possibility of ETH also come back up to the 1418 zone, retest that point, and then come back down to the $1,100 mark. Yeah, there's just a lot of uncertainty at the moment, and in my opinion, going into the meeting tomorrow could spell doom for a lot of the market anyway. And generally in September, it's always been a bearish month for cryptos in general. So also looking at that, let's see on the 1-hourly, still haven't broken out of this 50 moving average yet, so still bearish on that. The MACD is showing that, or the histogram is showing that we're starting to reverse as well into negative territories. So I just have to see how this plays out anyway. Having a look at BNB, still at play from what we have drawn a couple of days ago, Cobird, but the target still remains the same. The target is still at that 243 mark. Looking at that on the hourly is showing that the histogram is reversing. We have pretty much broken out of this medium term support line that we have formed. So I'm going to remove that now because it's not in use anymore, and pretty much most likely come back down to retest this downwards trend line. It's just going to take some time, but see what happens. If it is truly bearish, then yes, expect us to come back down to retest this 185 area. Looking at ADA, Cardano, nothing much happening there. Still range bound, so those that kind of bought in between, you've had like a nice fluctuating range of buying in and out. Yeah, so if you've been dollar cost averaging, you'll be pretty happy with buying Cardano. They also, from what I heard, is they have a upgrade coming up this week. So it could potentially cause the price to go up, but if the market looks bearish, it's not going to do too much. Looking at XRP, still retesting this area here that we've drawn up a while ago. So this is a heavy resistance zone, and if it's a bullish news tomorrow for the FOMC, expect the price to break out so we continue going up. But if it's a negative, possibly we can reject it and go further down. Looking at Solana, pretty much just trading sideways, so there's nothing very interesting about Solana at the moment that we can actually have a look at. Yeah, everything's dependent on the meeting tomorrow, in my opinion. Having a look at Matic Polygon, or Polygon Matic, same as what has happened with BNB, we have broken out of there. Let me check, we've come up to retest. So these were the support lines, so we've pretty much broken that one, so we're going down. The next support would be at the 0.675 area. So once we break that, expect us to also go further down to the next area, which would be, let me just drag it, so the next area would be this point here, which is at 0.325. So if that breaks down, that's what we could be expecting. Having a look at Chainlink, just trading sideways, nothing else going on at the moment. Next, as I said, the support zone would be that 6.24 area. Looking at NEO, getting closer to our target area before it bounce. So in my opinion, that's what I think can happen. The area will be at 3.456 area for NEO. Yeah, hopefully that is a strong support because we have tested it multiple times along the way here. But if it does break, as I said, expect us to go to the 236 area. Looking at VeChain. So VeChain is pretty much doing what is expected at the moment. So as I said, the next area of support would be 0.0195. Possibly touch that point there over the days, or even tomorrow if the news is negative, and expect us to probably bounce from then on. Hopefully that's the last lows, but if it's not, expect us to go even further down to pretty much that next support line, which would be about 0.008, which, I mean, it's a good point, place to pick up more VeChain, but yeah, I mean, not many people want to be buying that low, or else they'll be at a loss, so it will probably be a cascading effect. Having a look at HAPI, HAPI is playing out the way we were expecting, but on the downside. So I'm going to remove this now because that's invalid. So we start breaking down. The next point of support would be 6.9 or $7 range, and if we break that, can be expecting us to be at the $5 range. In my opinion, $5 range will be perfect because it forms a perfect double bottom. So with a double bottom, I'll show you here and what we can see anyway. So with this double bottom, that's the first bottom, touching that point there. So the next bottom, if it touches that 564 range, expect us to shoot back up to this resistance zone, which is that $15 range. Yeah, so that's just going to take some time. And lastly, looking at Atom. Atom is pretty much forming a 5-wave correction down, but I'm not too sure about this one at the moment with Atom. Yeah, I mean, I started drawing this one, but got stopped out a couple of times. Did start shorting from that 16.7 area, but it's just waiting to see what BTC decides to do. Looking at the last look at the BTC Dominance. BTC's Dominance is still holding its place, bounced from that 39% mark and just holding. So there's nothing much on that one yet, but generally, yeah, in a bull market or at the start of the bull market, you can expect BTC to start shooting up first before the alts. And lastly, looking at the DXY. So looking at DXY, let me put it on the hourly time frame. Currently, we have broken out of this channel, so I can move that channel there. What I'm expecting us to do in the coming hours is for the DXY to start shooting up to the bottom, because everyone expects bearish news, so everyone's going to start flocking to the DXY, which also tests this point here, which would form a double top, and for us to possibly come back down and retest this zone here. I mean, you don't really want to trade based on the DXY, but it's very important to also know how the DXY is also looking as well, because if there's a rising wedge in that forms and we break down, expect the market and the rest of the alts and Bitcoin to start going up. But yeah, that's all I have time for today, guys. Please let me know what you guys would like me to have a look at, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye. Anyway, my name is Rich, and you've been watching Rich in Blockchain. I'll catch you again soon for the next episode. Please remember to like and subscribe. Cheers, and have a good one.